Hey, this is Matt once again. What about another video? This is another paid request. This time for Guillermo. And first I want to apologize for the fan. I have the fan on my computer to keep it cool, so sorry that it's so loud. The fan portion of it. Also, for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, randomness, out of blueness, wherever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or through my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a film called The Curse of Professor Zardonicus, which I never heard of, although I'm a sucker for mockumentaries, whether it be found footage mockumentaries, even though a lot of them can be bad, but when it's a gem or when it surprises me, either way, it still intrigues me. I don't know why. Maybe because it's, even after there's been so many, it still feels like a unique format to me. You know, you had stuff going back to This is Spinal Tap and other movies. There was a 1989 one called 84 Charlie Moped, which is a drama and guy following his fellow platoon in Vietnam holding a video camera. But this is a mockumentary. It's about a guy named Greg who had a failed student project, and this is what it was, where he was a director and he's supposed to interview a fellow student. And the fellow student he finds is a guy named Darren, and Darren Mitchell says he's a survivor of a violent assault. He shows a nasty gash he got and says it's because of this Professor Zardonicus. It's hard to even say it. This is ridiculous. And even, the lead is saying how ridiculous it is. And the name invokes a silly reaction. But you have a guy who believes that he was attacked, that something happened. He wants to prove that his urban legend is real. And he wants this director's help. And the director, Greg, is like, okay, I'll do it because this seems like a wacky thing that will help my student project. And I thought this film was decent. I thought this film at the least was like a 3 out of 5 star movie. I don't think this is a 3.4 out of 10 deal. I think that's way too fucking low for that. I do. Because I think the acting's not that bad. The subject, Darren, seems bad, but as the movie goes on, you kind of get why he's acting that way. So I think it was actually done as a purpose, where he's playing up an act for the camera as you find out more about this guy. And the thing is, I think maybe because of the marketing, maybe the advertising, I didn't see any trailers to this movie. Maybe it made it look like a horror film, and this is not. This is actually more of a small, micro-budget, sad little drama. That's really what it is. And that was kind of refreshing. When I've seen over 100 mockumentaries, found footage films. A lot of them I like. I like Population Zero, Savage Land, Butterfly Kisses, and This is Spinal Tap. If we're going to straight up found footage, Blair Witch Project 1999 one, the As Above So Below, I mentioned Butterfly Kisses, the in a way Searching with John Cho was kind of that in a way, or that's more of a point of view that I really found. But yeah, those are ones I enjoyed. And this one, there's a movie called Creep, which I was really big on. And what I wanted out of Creep is kind of what I got out of this. Where you think it's going that way, but it does a nice little swerve, which made it, I thought, a bit more fulfilling. A bit of a more interesting story. I still think maybe more could have been put into it to make it even a stronger punch. But I still thought it was fairly decent for a film that has a silly title, that's a low 3.4, which is way too fucking low. And it went at a good pace. I thought the actors did their jobs fine. And I appreciate it not doing the typical found footage shtick. I actually appreciate that it felt a bit more off the beaten path. It's nothing fantastic. It's nothing crazy. But I thought, okay, it's not that bad. They get more into spoilers. Our director, Grade starts looking into his legend. Something about a prank in the 1950s where a professor got accidentally burned up. And as he tosses Darren, he realizes this guy's a bit loonier than you would think. Talk about science is stupid because it's confirmation bias and they're cynical of different ideas. If the director calls the guy on his bullshit, the guy gets fairly frustrated and floundered. Questions are raised: how far does one go into believing a conspiracy theory? This guy wants the director's help to make others believe him, so he tries to talk to people, but he's a bit too aggressive. And there's little moments that are kind of funny. Like he talks to a priest. Like, how do you make people believe in the resurrection? I mean, that seems like a pretty big pill to swallow. And the priest is like, he doesn't know what to say about that. Like, there's another bit in the woods, and the director's like, I didn't sign up for this Blair Witch shit. And Darren's like, I don't know what that is. What do you mean you don't know what that is? No, I don't know what that is. Now, it never invokes the idea that what Darren is saying is real, or what Darren is saying could have a possibility. At least to me, it never did. Maybe, I don't know if that was the script, I don't know if that was other factors, but I never bought on the fact that Professor Zardonicus, this thing was ever real. It was, I think maybe, in the spoilers, if Darren did more to try to throw the director off, like if he tried to make footage that was fake, or if he had a background that he didn't tell that he was into effects, or he was into makeup, he was into this and that, maybe that could have helped. Maybe he shows footage and you realize it's been altered, or you do this, like maybe a little bit more of that would have helped in that factor. But like I was saying before, with Darren, what you come to find out by the end, super spoilers, is that Grade goes to find Darren's dad. And Darren's dad talks about how when Darren was a kid, he would indulge in fantasies. And go too far in indulging fantasies. And to believing that this and this is real. And so he was actually sent to a child psychiatrist, and it seems like they didn't help. And Grade mentions, well, why don't you talk to him? And the dad says he doesn't want to speak to me. And even the girlfriend, I do like the girlfriend mentions to the director, this guy could be dangerous, he could kill you, he could do this and that. I do think the director does some stupid stuff. Like, he never brings something to protect himself. Like, if there was ever... that's another thing. Like, the way Darren acts, he's never creepy. He says weird stuff, but the way his demeanor and the way he looks, there's never any times I got a creepy factor. And that's the thing, is that, based on script, they could always go the typical route, but if the movie was trying to make us think that he's creepy, I just think he seems weird and off balance, but I never got this creep scary factor from the guy who played Darren. But I guess on the flip side, that was fine, because it just made him a bit more of a... feel sorry for, maybe a little bit of a tragic character. Because what happens is, they go to this warehouse, this building, where Darren wants them to go, and Darren has a gun. And the director, this is what I said, the director's doing some stupid stuff where he finally calls him out on his bullshit, saying, I think all you're saying is a lie, and you're making all this shit up, and I'm tired of this shit. I'm like, dude, you're saying this when he has a gun out. You could have done this and lie, say, let me take the gun, I want to protect myself, or you could have brought a weapon to protect yourself, or when he put the gun away, then you could have done it. Like, you doing it, that's pretty stupid. I'm like, you already get shot just for your stupidity. But there's a struggle. Darren gets thrown down, and you realize the scars he had at the beginning of the film were fake. And then the director tries to leave. He hears this weird noise. He comes back. Darren's gone, and there's Professor Zardonicus. Or pretty much it's Darren in an outfit. And he attacks Grade, but doesn't kill him. He runs off, and then he disappears. And then people saw the footage, and Grade was on probation, disciplinary. He dropped out. And, there's some, like the last interview he does with another guy about now he's put up missing posters looking for Darren. He offers a heartfelt apology because he's like, I feel like I used him and for this project. And, you take a guy who is not mentally there and then you further indulge him in his fantasy, how far will it go? Now, it doesn't go into any huge extremes. Well, I guess it is an extreme what happens at the end, but to be fair, there's never any other time where I felt Grade was in danger. And I guess maybe that was the point, is that you're not thinking of this guy as a psycho, you think of Darren as just a tragic guy that needs help and has disappeared because of his own fantasies. And as the grade says, Darren needed this professor to be real. And needed to get people to believe that it must be real. No one believed in it, so he needed to be it in order to get people to believe that maybe this is real. Like, again, the further sense of trying to believe in his own delusion, and again, how far do you go to believe your own conspiracy theory when you're mentally not there? And that's what I thought the story was halfway decent. And I thought I get why Darren was acting that way, because he was trying to put up an act for the camera because of this delusion he had. I thought the guy who played Grade did fine. I believe he's the director as well. Not just the director of his film, but the actual director. I did done very micro budget. It's not up there with Blair Witch Project or As Above So Below or Butterfly Kisses was a real big surprise. Savage Land was a real nice surprise. Population Zero, I would say I liked more. Even Horror in the High Desert, which came out probably last year, I would say I liked that more than this. But again, a 3.4 out of 10. I think this has enough decent elements. It doesn't feel like just in one ear, out the other, another typical found footage, shaky cam, people screaming, camera falls at the end type of shit. I appreciate what the director is trying to do. Like I said, maybe a bit more of seeing some manipulation on Darren's part, whether faking video, faking footage. The closest we did is that he does get a guy in the woods to say that he saw the creature too. But the way he was behaving, it just made me go, well, this guy probably got paid off. And this guy's like an actor. And that was just my first gut. It's not, oh, I believe this guy actually did see a creature. It was, oh, this guy seems like he was a paid actor. So I don't know, maybe just the vibe Darren, the one guy, had going. I don't know how else to put it. But yeah, it's not a fantastic movie, but I think it's a pretty decent film. Again, for a micro budget, from what I understand, it costs only like $3,000. I think it's pretty... I did underrated based on the rating. It's not nearly as bad as people say it is. And yet, I looked up user reviews, and I don't know who gave it these low ratings. Because I'm not finding a lot of, like, god-awful reviews. They're like, yeah, it's pretty decent. Again, I think maybe if you don't expecting a horror movie, a creature feature film, that's not what it is. I appreciate that's not, because there's 100 other movies like that. And to have something a bit off the beaten path, I appreciate it. And Guillermo, thank you for that. I mean, on my letterbox, I actually gave a little list of what my favorites were, if I remember. I figure I'll add this at the end, just in case. Found footage or point of view or mockumentaries. So POV, stuff like Hardcore Henry is from the point of view of a person. Or Searching. The Tunnel, that's a more mockumentary. Blair Witch Project, more found footage. So okay, Blair Witch Project, Searching, The Tunnel, Hardcore Henry, As Above, So Below, Exists, Butterfly Kisses, Savage Land, Digging Up the Marrow, and Behind the Mask, The Rise of Lizzie Vernon. And then behind that, Into the Storm, Cloverfield, Afflicted, VHS2, Population Zero, and then stuff like Fake Blood, I liked. Operation Avalanche was very interesting because it's a found footage, but it was, if it was taken back to the day and they did fake the moon landing and the conspiracy, I thought that was actually a cool idea. So Fake Blood I liked, Lake Mungo I liked, Horror in the High Desert, This is Spinal Tap, Incident at Loctus with Werner Herzog, I did like that one. They're Watching was fun, Take Your Deborah Logan. Howard's Mill is okay. Howard's Mill, I might give a little edge to this. I put this at number 33. Between Unfriended and Evidence. But I have like 100. And when it gets to like, I don't know, 50. Nah, I would say maybe 47, 48. That's where and it gets worse from there. Like hashtag Captured or RWD or Creature Lake or Zombie Diaries. That's some awful shit. But anyway, with that said, thanks once again, Guillermo. Take care, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.